Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn how to cut this beautiful crepe gown. So for this gown I made use of 3 yards of fabric. The reason why I made use of 3 yards of fabric is because it was gathered at the down part. So let's dive into it. So first thing first, we measure our shoulder. Shoulder for this is 16 inches, so you have to divide it by 2, giving us 8 inches. So after marking out our shoulder, we'll move over to our armhole round. So I'll also be making use of 8 inches for the armhole round. So here I've measured out the 8 inches. I'll be marking it out. So after that, I will move over to the half length. The half length for this gown is 15 inches, and also be making use of 24 inches for the hip length. So this gown, first of all, this gown is an A-line gown, but I only made use of 2 inches for the, because I'll be making use of my round hip measurements, and then I'll be adding it extra 2 inches at the full length to make it, to give it that A-line shape. I don't want to make the A-lines, I don't want it to be an exaggerated A-line gown, so I want the flay to be a bit small. I don't want it to have a bigger flay, so that is the reason why I added 2 inches. But if you want your flay to be too big, you can add maybe 3 inches, 4 inches, depending on your choice, but I just don't want it to be an exaggerated flay. So having marked out the hip length and then the full length, so because this gown had a flay at the down part, I'll be deducting 9 inches from the normal full length. The full length for this was 39 inches, so I deducted 9 inches for the flay. So I now cut it at 30 inches because I'll be joining flay, gathered flay at the down part. So that notwithstanding, I'll mark out the remaining part of the measurement. The round bust, I've marked out the round bust. Here I'm marking out the round waist. So I added a belt to this gown, so that is the reason why I added an additional 1 inches for ease. So in case the person don't want it to be, if the person wants it to be shapious, the person can tie the belt. If the person wants it to be free, you can just untie the belt. So that's the reason why I added the belt. So after that, I'll also be using, like I said before, I'll be using the round hip measurement divided by 4 plus additional 2 inches for the, to give it that A-line shape. See, I've added the A-line shape. I didn't rule it down. So at the hip length, I also added extra, like I'm doing here, I also added extra 1 inches. So I now marked a new line from the waist to the hip length, connecting it to the full length, like so. So I wanted, the reason why I didn't connect it all the way from the waist is because I wanted to have that shape at the, I don't want it to have that exaggerated flay shape. I wanted to have a round hip measurement and all those stuff. So after marking those ones out, I will be going over to the neckline. The neckline for this was circle neckline, so I made use of 3 inches by 3 inches, while I made use of 3 inches width by 2.5 inches at the back. So here I've marked out I'm marking out the round neckline. So I'll move over to cut. I came down by 1/2 inches for the shoulder slant. So yeah, marking the shoulder slant, after which I will now cut out. And then once I'm done with the cutting of the fabric, the one I've marked out, I'll move over to the down part because I'll be going up by 1 inches at the down part. So here I curved the armhole. I divided. So for you to curve the armhole, you have to first of all divide the armhole length by 2. Then you now go in by half an inch at the center. So here, having cut out the pattern, here I'll be going up by 1 inches like I said before. I went up by 1 inches and I then connected it to the center, and then I cut it out. So here I'm cutting out the neckline, after which I will now place the front pattern on the material to cut the back pattern. So here I'm cutting out the back pattern. The only difference between the back and the front pattern is I added extra 1 inches for the zip allowance, and then why the back neckline, like I said before, was 2.5 inches depth and then 3 inches for the width. So that's all for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. So for the flay, like I said before, I made use of 9 inches for the flay. So although I did that off camera, so I made use of 9 inches. It was a double flay. It was 2-step. So first of all, I made use of 9 inches, while the second step I made use of 7 inches. You can decide to make it 1 step if you want, but for this gown I made it 2-step flay. So one was 9 inches